Hello and welcome, it's Jess here and we are going to continue this month's art challenge. Just in case you've missed it, I've put together my own prompt list of words that evoke and symbolize positivity. I've been doing one illustration per day and I have already shared my process for the first 8 prompts. And in this video, I'll show you guys the process for the next 8. It's been an incredible first week of creating and I'm truly having a blast filling the sketchbook. Let's get started on the next prompt for day 9, which is bloom. When I think of the word bloom, I think of blooming and growing as a person. Starting from the very bottom and flourishing and spending time to really improve and grow is the meaning that I was really trying to portray in this piece. I'm starting off with a red outline with watercolor, and then I take a kneaded eraser and just get rid of any extra pencil lines before I begin painting. I've been really loving experimenting with different techniques. I don't normally start off with an outline, but it's been quite interesting doing things a little bit different. As I'm forming out the washes and initial tones of the painting, I've also been working on slowing down when I'm painting, especially with watercolor, and working in layers. When it comes to watercolor, I'm constantly reminded that they work best when they are layered, so after laying down my initial tone, I then begin to build up some more movement in layers and depth with darker values. And with each thin layer that I was building up, the colors got more vibrant. This month I realized that I was craving a little bit more of a thicker opaque paint, so I started experimenting more with acrylic gouache. After laying down my watercolor base, I took a thin brush to punch out some of those pink details. And here is the finished piece for bloom. Up next is day 10, and the word is build. For this prompt, I wanted to bring back my little characters from the beginning and play around with the idea of them building up a robot and sort of setting a foundation for him to grow. I played around with size and different geometric shapes to build up the actual robot, and I wanted the little people characters to be around building him, and I wanted there to be more concept and meaning to the piece. I really thought of the concept of building our relationship with love, and it starts with setting the proper foundations. And I truly believe that those foundations that we create room for will allow us to give love and be kind to others. And that's the little message that I wanted to get across with this piece. I realized that I truly love inking and then adding a little light watercolor wash over. It's great if you want to provide a little bit more dimension, but still keep the emphasis on the inking. And I think that in a way, it brings everything together. For the 11th prompt, we have disco. I added this word into the prompt list because dancing is actually a huge part of my life, and I also wanted to illustrate something really fun and expressive. Dance is also another artistic form of expression, and dancing to your favorite music can guarantee you to just feel really good. I wanted the words that I chose in this prompt list to both subconsciously and consciously make you feel good when you're creating them. And with everyone who has shared their work over on Instagram with the hashtag, you guys have been also creating some incredible pieces. And with the positive feedback of the positive prompts, it's as if we're having a big art party together. I wanted these two characters to be in funky positions, in funky clothing, and I took on the challenge of making his suit gold. But without using gold paint, of course. I simply wanted to show how they're having a great time and also play around with some more contrasting colors. And once again played around with watercolor and gouache. Before beginning each prompt, I take some time to sit and think about the meaning of each word. When thinking about the word catch, I think about catching a moment or catching a ball, and I know that there is some sort of action of reaching. So with this illustration, I wanted to have a boy reaching up into the sky, catching the sun, and showing that the possibilities of us reaching our goals are endless. The sky is the limit. And I wanted this illustration to remind you that if you ever have an opportunity or a moment, catch it and don't let it go. The beautiful part of creating from a prompt is that there are millions and millions of ways that you can interpret it. To me, one of the ways that I think of bliss is laying in a field with a sunset, surrounded by fresh grass and poppies. I wanted to play around with perspective with this piece and also limit myself to a color palette. And truthfully, this painting felt so groundbreaking to me, and I think that's because it really came from the heart and it slowly was becoming one of my favorites so far. For this painting, I'm using only gouache, and I was really happy to revisit just painting with it. I realized that I really do love gouache, simply for the fact that I'm able to create light washes but also build up my opaque values. I loved sticking with a limited palette here and then adding really bright red poppies around. And I also enjoyed skewing the perspective so it kind of looks like we're looking in from the top. And mostly just looking at this painting makes me feel super happy, and I hope that it makes you feel the same too. Next up is Gift, and my idea for this painting was to create a girl that was sitting inside of a gift box, but she's also discovering the gift of love and the gift of life. She's also sort of tangled up in ribbon and her own hair, and the little ball of energy she's holding and looking at symbolizes love and life. The gift of life is exquisite, and the fact that we get to wake up and live another day is a true blessing. For the next painting, I decided to be a little bit more bold and try something that I normally don't. I ended up doing a really dark background and tried playing around with the lighting. I was a bit nervous to do such a dark background at first, but then I realized it was a really great decision. So then I went into experimenting furthermore and painting in some elements with an olive green color, a color that I also don't normally use. But my main focus was to really bring magic to this little deer dreaming. I learned that without taking small risks and simply experimenting, we may never know what new things we are capable of. I can't believe that we are halfway done through October. Day 16 is here, and today's prompt is a flower that has a lot of symbolism. After doing some research, I learned that it's symbolic of love, honor, happiness, and romance. So I decided to portray this flower as a beautiful woman, and the stem is forming out her figure, and she's delicately resting inside the vase. I really love bringing life into objects or things. I've already done a series where I brought some fruits to life, and it was interesting bringing life to this flower. I can't believe how far I've been pushing myself conceptually with this art challenge, but I truly have been loving it so far. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next video where we'll continue with the next prompt, and I'll see you then. Bye!